Yeah, we are marching ever closer to Blade Runner. But I can show you some pretty interesting new technology that might help us get through it. First off, we are at a critical point where things like corn are not going to grow as well. We also kind of have the issue that there aren't going to be people to pick the crops, but we are getting to the point where we can automate it. This is a project out of the UK, where you can't grow strawberries year-round, and that's going to become a problem for a lot of crops. So they built these fully functional cylinders that grow strawberries, they rotate, and they provide it with adequate sunlight, and robots actually pick the crops as they go. This solves a lot of the problems that they have with climate. They're not doing large batches yet, but this is only the start. It's essentially a fully functional greenhouse from start to end. As technology becomes more available, this is not out of the question, and it could solve our food production issues if not for the major flaw you're thinking about. This takes an entire crop out of the ecosystem and essentially puts it in a biodome. Which, sure, if the ecosystem is raised, this could be a solution. They could also have insects that would pollinate them. They could even have little robotic insects that do the same job. And I've talked about those guys a little bit. They are pretty cool. They could charge with something like a C14 core, which is becoming more viable as we make solid-state batteries to go with them. When I say C14, I mean a radioactive carbon beta voltaic battery that produces electricity just very slowly with the power of beta decay. They're now making hybrid batteries. I've covered them before. Now, why is this pertinent today? Well, birth rates are not just dropping in the US, they're dropping worldwide. That also includes India and China. Birth rates are dropping everywhere, and we may very soon get to a point where the global birth rate is below replacement. That happens to be a problem if you're older and if you want an economy that grows continuously. Well, it's a good thing we're getting robots in the mix. AI and robotics, as it becomes widely available and cheap, could take over a lot of the jobs that we need for care. That means in nursing homes, there might just be robots doing the job, as well as things like picking crops and other low-wage work. That is a little bit of a conspiracy of mine that we're looking to replace workers with robots as the US cracks down on immigration. That is the only thing that makes sense to me. I actually have a population biology background, and nothing can save a closed population unless you have immigration or emigration. My only guess is they're hoping to replace people with robots. And we are now seeing robots take over factory jobs. Amazon is trying to implement them, which isn't the worst thing. A lot of those jobs are quite dangerous. But that doesn't really work unless we have universal basic income. We can't take away all the jobs and then just replace them and then have nowhere for people to go. It's just not a good plan unless you have a safety net. What I'm really looking forward to, what I really hope for our future, and you probably already know this if you know my content, I hope the robots rebel. I'm ready to just let them inherit the earth. I wonder if they would have the same problems we do. And as cool as automating our cropping systems is, I think it's kind of a disturbing trend when it comes to the ecosystem, which is not doing so hot. The general excuse for making these things is that it allows you to have crops that aren't in season or will never be in season again. But these are not capable of feeding a population. It's possible, we're not there yet.